Hello everyone. Today, I want to share a simple story with you. It is not a story about great success or dramatic adventure. It is a quiet story. But sometimes, the quiet stories carry the strongest lessons. By the end of this story, you may understand something powerful, the importance of self-respect. In a peaceful place called Silverbrook Valley, mornings always began with warm sunlight. A calm river flowed through the village, reflecting the sky like a mirror. Green hills surrounded the houses, standing quietly like gentle guardians. Life there moved slowly. People greeted each other in the morning, children played along the narrow roads, and small shops opened their doors with the smell of fresh bread and warm tea. Among the people who lived in that valley was a young woman named Lena. Everyone knew Lena for her kindness. She smiled easily. She helped others without being asked, and she always tried to make people feel comfortable around her. But Lena had one quiet weakness. She chased people who pulled away from her. If someone ignored her message, she sent another. If someone stopped talking to her, she tried harder to reconnect. Even when someone made her feel unimportant, she still held on. Deep inside, Lena believed something that many people quietly believe, that love and attention must be earned, even if the other person gives nothing in return. Lena worked in a small bakery owned by an elderly woman named Madame Lena. Every morning, the street filled with the warm smell of fresh bread, sweet cakes, and crispy pastries. Customers came to enjoy tea and conversation. Friends laughed together. Neighbors shared small stories about their day. The bakery was always lively, but inside, Lena sometimes felt strangely invisible. It was like standing in a crowded room while feeling that no one truly sees you. One afternoon, while walking home from work, Lena noticed something unusual. A tiny sparrow was sitting quietly on an old wooden fence. One of its wings looked slightly injured. The bird seemed fragile, yet calm. Lena slowly walked closer. "You poor little bird," she whispered gently. The sparrow did not fly away. Lena placed a few breadcrumbs beside it and stepped back. For a moment, the bird simply stayed there. Then Lena continued walking home. But that small moment stayed with her. Someone had stayed near her, even if it was only a bird. The next morning, Lena walked past the same fence again, but the sparrow was gone. A strange sadness appeared inside her. "Everything leaves eventually," she murmured quietly. With that thought in her mind, Lena walked slowly to the bakery. Madame noticed immediately. "You seem quiet today," the old woman said kindly. "I'm just a little tired," Lena replied, while kneading dough slowly. But the truth was deeper than tiredness. Something inside Lena felt empty. That same week, something more painful happened. Lena's closest friend, Sarah, began avoiding her. Sarah stopped visiting the bakery. She stopped replying to Lena's messages. And when Lena saw her in the market and tried to greet her, Sarah simply looked away. Lena felt confused. Had she said something wrong? Had she made a mistake? For several days, she carried those questions in silence. Finally, one afternoon in the busy market, Lena gathered the courage to ask, "Sarah, did I do something wrong?" she asked gently. Sarah looked annoyed. "I'm busy, Lena," she said coldly. "You don't need to follow me everywhere." The words were short, but they felt heavy. The market around them was full of voices and movement. Yet in that moment, everything became quiet for Lena. She nodded slowly and walked away. That evening, Lena went to her favorite place by the river. Long willow branches touched the water. The sunset painted the sky with soft orange light. Usually that place brought her peace, but today, Her heart felt heavy.
She sat on the grass and looked at the flowing river. Suddenly, she heard a small chirp. The sparrow landed quietly beside her. Lena wiped the tears from her eyes. "Why does everyone leave me?" she whispered gently. "Why am I always the one chasing people?" The sparrow tilted its head as if listening. The river continued flowing gently. The wind moved softly through the trees. For a few moments, the world felt calm again. Then, Lena heard voices behind her. Two girls from the village were walking along the river path. They didn't notice Lena sitting nearby. "Did you hear what Sarah said about Lena?" one girl whispered. "She says Lena is too emotional, always running after her like a shadow." The girls laughed quietly as they continued walking. Lena froze. Her hands felt cold. So this was the truth. Sarah wasn't simply busy. She was embarrassed by Lena. Tears filled Lena's eyes. Not soft tears this time, but painful tears, carrying years of trying too hard for people who never valued her. She sat on the grass and looked at the flowing river. Suddenly, she heard a small chirp. The sparrow chirped again beside her. Lena slowly took a deep breath. She looked at the quiet river. For the first time, she allowed herself to feel everything. The hurt, the anger, the sadness, and finally, silence. Then, a new thought appeared. She wasn't losing people. People who didn't appreciate her were losing her. Lena gently touched the small bird. "I shouldn't chase anyone anymore," she whispered. "If someone wants to leave, I must let them go." The sparrow fluttered its wings softly, and in that quiet moment, something powerful began to grow inside Lena. Self-respect. The next morning, Lena walked into the bakery differently. Her steps were calm. Her smile felt natural again. She greeted customers warmly and focused on her work. For the first time in a long while, she didn't check her phone again and again. Madame Alina watched her carefully. "You seem different today," the old woman said. Lena nodded. "I made an important decision," she replied. "What decision?" "To stop chasing people." Madame Alina smiled gently. "That is a lesson many people learn very late in life." Days passed. Sarah never returned to the bakery. She never apologized, but something interesting began to happen. New people slowly entered Lena's life. A girl from the nearby tailor shop began visiting during lunch breaks. One friendly customer offered to teach Lena painting. On weekends, a young boy started helping her feed the little sparrow, which now visited every day. These people didn't run away. They stayed. Not because Lena chased them, but because they wanted to be there. One evening, Lena stood outside the bakery. The sky was soft pink, and the air was peaceful. The small sparrow rested gently on her shoulder. Lena smiled. Her life felt lighter now, not because everyone stayed, but because she finally understood something important. The right people do not need to be chased. They choose to stay. And sometimes, The strongest thing you can do is to simply respect yourself enough to stop running after those who do not see your worth.
If this story spoke to your heart, share it with someone who might need this reminder today. And remember, the moment you stop chasing the wrong people, you make space for the right ones to walk into your life. Thank you for listening.